Dear students, very good morning. Today we have to discuss the topic of residential status determination. In income tax, the residential status determination is very important concept because based upon the residential status, the tax liability should be calculated. Need of residential status. Tax incidence on an assessee depends on his residential status. Similarly, an income accrued to an individual outside India or received India is taxable in our country depends upon the residential status. Similarly, whether an foreign national or foreign citizen received or accrued income in our country is taxable depends upon the residential status. Therefore, the determination of residential status of a person is very significant in order to find the tax liability. Taxable entity. A taxable entity can be calculated by a person. As per income tax, person means an individual, a HUF, a partnership firm, an association of person, joint stock company and any other person. In case of an individual means a human being, sound mind and being a major citizens. And in case of a Hindu undivided family, so a family comes under the Hindu law and doing his family business, and the business was run by the karta. Similarly, this karta is the senior most male member is considered as karta of the family. If any male member is not interested to run the business, then the senior most female member will be considered as the karta of the business. The next one, a firm, a partnership firm. A partnership firm means two or more persons join together to run a business for earn profit under the Act of Indian Partnership Act 1932. The next one, an association of persons. It means a group of persons formed for a particular purpose, and if the particular purpose is over, then they should wind up. The next one is joint stock company. Company means it is an artificial person created by law under the Companies Act 1956, having a perpetual succession and a common sale, and also the company has invited the public to issue the shares. Finally, any other persons. In the any other persons category, municipality, corporation, panchayat or comes under this category. The next one is categorization of residential status. The residential status can be categorized for individual and HUF in three categories: resident, resident but not ordinary resident, non-resident. Whereas in case of other categories, that is firm, company, AOP, BOI and any other person, only two categories are there. That is resident and non-resident. First, we have to discuss the residential status determination for individual. Section 6, subsection 1 deals with the residential status determination of an individual. So, to compute the residential status of an individual, we must discuss about the concept of basic condition as well as additional condition. On the basis of this condition, we have to identify the residential status. First one is basic condition. In basic conditions, there are two conditions are there. The assessee has to fulfill any one of the basic conditions, either one or two. The first basic condition is 182 days in previous year. That is, the assessee must stay in India in 182 days or more in the relevant previous year. In case of relevant previous year means we are comes under the assessment year is 2021-22. Therefore, the previous year is 2020-21. In that period, the assessee's stay was in India is 182 days. This is the first basic condition. If the assessee has not fulfilled the first basic condition, automatically we have to shift over the second basic condition. That is, the assessee must stay in India in 60 days in previous year and also 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. In case of preceding previous year means before that previous years, that is 2019-20, 2018-90, 2017-18, 2016-17. In that 4 previous year, his stay was in 365 days. So, a assessee has fulfilled either the first or second basic conditions. But there are some exceptions rules are there. That is, in some cases that we have to consider only the first basic condition alone. The cases are: number 1, Indian citizen who leaves India during the relevant previous year as a member of the crew of an Indian ship or for the purpose of employment outside India. That is, a crew of an Indian ship. The ship may be shipped over any day where other countries. That's why the previous year income will be taxable in the same assessment year. That's why in that cases we have to consider only the first basic condition, and also the person leaves India for employment purpose. The second exception case was Indian citizen or person of Indian origin who leaves India and stay and they are settled in foreign country. Just they have to visit our country only for the visiting purpose. In that cases we have to consider only the first basic condition alone only. So generally, in case of basic condition, either one or two, any one of the condition was fulfilled by the assessee. In these cases only we have to take on only the first basic condition alone. The next one, additional condition. So after the assessee has to fulfill the basic condition, next step we have to go for the additional conditions. There are two additional conditions. In that additional condition, the assessee has to fulfill both the additional condition, and so that is first and as well as second additional condition. The first additional conditions is the assessee must stay in India in 2 out of 10 preceding previous year. That is, totally the entire year his stay is in India. That is, totally 365 days he was stay in India is must. And the second additional condition is the assessee must stay in India in 730 days in 7 preceding previous year. That is, before that previous year his stay was in completely 730 days. Then on the basis of the comparison of basic as well as additional condition, we have to determine the residential status. First, there are 3 cases are there. Either the assessee has to fulfill both the condition, that is both additional as well as both basic as well as additional condition, and only the basic condition he has to satisfy, and finally he has to not satisfy any of the condition. On the basis of this status, the residential status is determined. First case, if the assessee has to fulfill both basic as well as additional conditions, he must be considered as ordinary resident. Whereas the assessee has to fulfill only the basic conditions alone, then he must be considered as resident but not ordinary resident. Then final case is, if the assessee has not fulfilled both the conditions, then he must be considered as non-resident. Whether if he has to fulfill the basic condition, then we have to go for the additional condition. If he has to not fulfill the basic condition, then we cannot check the additional condition. That is the rule for it. The next case is residential status of HUF, section 6, subsection 2. A Hindu undivided family is resident in India if the control and management of its affairs is wholly or partly situated in India. Whether the business control is entirely or partly situated in India, then it must be considered as ordinary resident. Whereas if the control and management is not situated in our country, then it is considered as non-resident. Then a member of HUF treated as, that is, a resident HUF is resident and ordinary resident in India if the Karta satisfy both the following condition. That is, on the basis of the stay in Karta, the residential status determined. If the Karta has fulfilled both basic as well as additional condition, the HUF is considered as ordinary resident. If the Karta has fulfilled only the basic condition, then the HUF is considered as resident but not ordinary resident. If the Karta has not fulfilled any of the condition, then the HUF is considered as non-resident. So depending upon the Karta's residential status, it was determined. So already we have to discuss the basic condition as well as additional condition. So if the Karta has to stay in India, on the basis of it, the residential status of HUF is determined. So in HUF and as well as individual, there are three categories, that is resident, not ordinary resident, then non-residents. These three categories are there. In other cases, only two categories, that is firm, company, any other person. There are only two categories, that is resident and one more non-residents. Next one, residential status of firm, AOP or BOA. Section 6, subsection 2 deals with this. Point number 1. Resident in India if control and management of its affairs, that is the business control, is entirely or partly situated in our country, situated in India, then it must be considered as resident. The firm or AOP or BOI was considered as resident. Whereas if the control and management is not situated in India, that is the control was situated outside the country, then it must be considered as non-resident. In that cases, a firm or AOP or BOI must be considered as a non-resident. Only there are two categories there. The next one is residential status of a company. Section 6 subsection 3 deals with residential status determination of a company. A company is said to be a resident in India if it is an Indian company, its place of effective management in that year in India. So whether the Indian company is always a resident in India. In case of Indian company, we need not check the control, because Indian company is always a resident in India. Whereas in case of a foreign company, we have to check the control and management. On the basis of the control and management, a foreign company is considered as resident and non-resident. If the control and management is situated in India, then a foreign company is considered as resident. Whereas in the control and management is not situated in India, then it must be considered as non-resident. So whereas in case of foreign company alone, we must check the control and management. The next one, residential status of any other person. Section 6 subsection 4 deals with residential status determination of any other person, that is municipality, corporation and panchayat. We have to determine the residential status only on the basis of the control and management. Already we have to discuss that is on the basis of control and management, the residential status is determined. If the control and management is situated in our country, then it must be considered as resident. Whereas if the control and management is not situated in our country, that is it is situated outside our country, then it must be considered as non-resident. Then incidence of tax based upon the residential status determination. So already we have to determine the residential status. The person may be a resident or non-resident or not ordinary resident. Then which type of income will be taxable? These three persons, or only the two persons, or only the one person. The next point is incidence of tax. Section 5 deals with the scope of total income. The scope of total income depends upon the residential status of a particular person. The total income liable vary according to the residential status. So based upon the residential status, the total income computation is differ. Then point number 1. Income received or deemed to be received in India, whether earned in India or elsewhere. So majorly whether the sources are receivable, any one took place in our country, then it must be taxable for all. First point, income accrued or deemed to be received in India, that is receivable in our country, but the sources was situated outside the country, then it was taxable 3%, resident, not ordinary resident, non-resident. Then second case is income which accrue or arise outside India, that is sources in our country but receivable was in outside the country, then it was also taxable for the three persons. In third case, income which accrue and arise outside India are receivable in our country but the control is situated in India. So in case of control situated in India, only it was taxable in two persons, that is ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. The next cases, sources and receivable both are in the outside our country, then it was taxable only one person, that is resident alone. Then finally, past untaxed income, that is previous year income, we have to calculate the total income of only the previous year, that is 2020-21. Before that year means in case of 2017-18 or 2018-19, income was carry over in our country only in the period of 2020-21. It was not included in any of the person, that is ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, non-resident. Both the cases this income was not included. So scope of total income is determined only on the basis of the residential status. Thank you, students.